Our next guest joining us is another incredibly special person, a great success story, Tamara Davis-Jack. She has a background in criminology and forensic science, which my daughter would love to talk to her about, I'm certain, and has earned her PhD in biochemistry. She's the mother of 2 children and recently married her very best friend in the whole world. And just celebrated another kind of important milestone, an anniversary of her incredible transformation that we're going to talk to her a little bit about today. Let's take a look at your before and after pictures here, Tamara. It's so exciting. Tamara has lost, as part of this journey, 130 pounds. 130 pounds. That's a whole person that Tamara has lost. Could you tell us a little bit how you got started on the program and your results?
Well, my story started about 3 years ago when I joined Shaklee to get healthier. I was introduced to the Shaklee 180 program, and I just wanted to do the program. I just knew it was going to be fantastic. Losing over 130 pounds really has resulted in, just as Thomas said, just some things I never fathomed, like going from 13 prescriptions down to 1.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Just because of your weight loss, you went from 13 prescriptions down to 1. That is amazing.
Yes, weight loss is a wonderful thing once you start it.
So, as you tell us a little bit about what was the hardest part of your journey? We've been talking about the following the program, right, and how important that is. What was the hardest part?
The hardest part is I would sneak and get on the scale. This is the thing. You think sometimes if you eat at night, the calories don't catch up to you. I know you all thought that. But, I would sneak and I would get on the scale a little bit too often. Eventually, I just put a piece of paper over the scale to give myself that idea that I was still on it. But I really focused on, I wasn't so obsessed with the numbers. I was really focused on my emotional and my physical well-being and how was I feeling and what was I thinking as I stood on that scale. It truly is about a lifestyle change. What changes is your perspective, your health, and the numbers just really come as a result of all of that. It's just kind of an all-encompassing kind of thing. I learned a different approach to food and my relationship to it. I learned what my stressors were. I learned when I most like to eat ice cream. And I learned that if you give your body what it needs, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. And one of the biggest things I tell people now is nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
Yeah, that is a great line. Nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. So much Absolutely. Of embarking on this kind of a transformation is about the actual physical choices you're making, right? The food you choose to eat, the exercise that you give your body. But a lot of it is mental as well, and staying positive, such an important piece of this journey. Can you talk a little bit about how the Shaklee community that rallies around helps you with that, and some other things maybe that you did to stay positive?
Okay, this is kind of my favorite part. I really, I didn't have what I felt was a lot of motivation. I have my family and they're really motivational. They think if I wanted to go to the moon, they'd all get out back and build a rocket. But, the Shaklee family is really just one in a million. I got a chance to listen to other people's stories and get their encouragement. And I was honored to work with somebody truly amazing by the name of Matt Hurd, who also completely transformed his life and his health. And I read his story and the stories of so many other people like Aaron Gottschalk. And, I would write messages to myself on my refrigerator. Aaron and Matt didn't know this, but I put their pictures on my refrigerator with little bubbles coming out of their head. And it would tell me different things that they would say to me if I was going to that refrigerator to get things I wasn't supposed to eat. So Matt, Alana, and Aaron, and the whole Shaklee family, just so many emails and texts. It was amazing.
That's great. So what advice would you give? I asked Tico the same question. What advice would you give? Because people that have struggled with this their whole lives, often look at these stories and listen to these stories with a little bit of cynicism, a little bit of disheartening, that it may feel like, well, good for you, but this is too hard for me. I can't do this. What advice would you give to someone? Because I'm sure you've been in that spot before, listening to a broadcast. Maybe you can relate and maybe get in their heads a little bit and share advice you might give them today.
Okay, number one, I was you a little while ago. I never once, as Thomas said, thought that I would ever be on this broadcast saying I lost 130 pounds. Literally, I didn't think I could lose three. I thought I loved food too much. This is what I'll tell you, is I thought that I'd be hungry and I wasn't. I literally had to get out of my own head. I had to get out of my own way. And I had to realize too, and really accept that I was truly worth the fight. I was worth getting up every day and just doing the same things every day. It was possible. And you won't even believe how amazing it feels when you get to the other side. I watch people at the convention say how they felt with the Shaklee 180. And I remember I was in the middle of it and I was just thinking, wow, what would it be like to lose over 100 pounds? Well, I'll tell you, it's amazing. All I will say is keep going. And as Thomas said, you're doing the same thing over and over and over. I lost 1 pound at a time to 130.
Wow. That's amazing, and I love your inspiration. I love the light that shines from inside you, and that has nothing to do with your transformation, everything to do with who you are. But we're grateful that you're sharing that story with so many people. And I know today of the thousands, we've got a ticker over here of how many people are watching this right now around all of North America. And I know that you've helped people today make a different choice in their life. So thank you, Tamara, for joining us.